Good morning and welcome to the E-mini S&P pre-market that I'm putting together lately for YouTube. And it is August 26th, a Friday, end of the week for 2022. A couple things I want to point out in the context of the overall context of things. Let me first be zoomed out a little bit on the weekly profile. Let's see if I can pull that up here. That's not it. Here we go. Okay, so this is this week right here. The profile to the right. What I want to bring attention to is at 4210 we have a very prominent volume point of control for the entire week, and this is the gap, right? So we have a gap right here that's still not filled in yet. Okay, so those are things to be, and this is a lot of single prints, so this could unfold as rapid short covering if we do get up there. But very important, there's a possible reversal point or a congestion point. There's also low volume right here at 4210. So just have that on your radar if we do make a move to the upside later. Let's see here. Another contextual thing to point out is that yesterday ended in a late afternoon spike. I'm calling the spike from the overnight high, not down here. And incidentally, that coincides with the current overnight value area low right here. You can see the purple and blue. Okay, so that's my base of the late spike. Yours might be lower. If you want to count this runoff period, I'm calling that a poor high. So we have a poor high, which basically means it's an unfinished auction to the upside in all likelihood. And another important thing to point out here is that on the, let me extend this, in the overnight, you can see all these highs that got stymied. Every time it attempted to go higher, it got stopped right here. So some people might look at this as an exponential poor high. I don't see it that way. Now, if we do trade through it, look out. It probably is going. And it's right below settlement, which is at 4201. And in my opinion, people were selling from there, or somebody was holding the market there for whatever reason. So most of the overnight trade has been within yesterday's late day spike, which means acceptance of higher prices. Will that continue? That's the question. Be aware at 41.95 we've got a fairly prominent volume point of control right at yesterday's close. So this is a good either reversal point or target for early move up. Again, I'm looking at short-term trade ideas here as I'm thinking this through, but I want to bring it to the overall plays for the day to look for. Now, we're an hour or so away from the open, actually more than that, an hour or so away from the open. There is a lot of news at 8:30. I think there's like maybe 8 items. We've got core personal consumption expenditures month over month, year over year, goods trades balance, we've got price index for the personal consumption expenditures for month over month and year over year, personal income month over month, and personal spending and wholesale inventory. So loads of stuff. So many things could change between now and the open at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. But importantly, at 10 a.m., right now the Jackson Hole Symposium is going on, but at 10 a.m. we've got Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index and Fed Chair, I believe Powell, is speaking. So, the market seems to have accepted kind of the hawkish regime of the Fed interest rate hikes and things like that. But, depending on what his remarks say, I think we could go higher. We could go lower. We could go sideways. You know what I mean? All right, so that's important. 10 a.m. Just be on. I'm putting out a bolo for 10 a.m. Right? Be on the lookout because it could get jumpy in the half hour after that as things get digested. All right, so let's just bring it in here. Here are the ideas. Now, we got 2 conflicting data points. We have a poor high, and we have a weak low. What do I mean by a weak low? Well, let's look. This low, now you don't see it on the chart right now, but right here was the close. Why is my mouse not moving? Just a moment. There we go. Right here is the close. Came down, took out this little anomaly here, that little bump. We also have this W open drive. This was some initiating activity in the overnight, and that's not been taken out. In my experience, these open drives and a TPO very often are revisited. So very important. We also did not get past yesterday's overnight low. So another thing to be mindful of, the day before there was all these little bumps, little anomalies. Okay, so it wasn't a very orderly move, and I'm not going to go further back than that. That's fine right there. So just be advised, you've got clowns to the left of you and jokers to the right, so to speak. All right, we've got a poor high up here and a weak low below. Okay, so there you go. All right, so let's say we open in the late day spike up, which is what it's looking like right now. The strategy would be to take out the prior high of day with continuation. For that to happen, we're looking for these conditions. Of course, they don't all have to happen exactly like this. We could have a very slow kind of, I say high confidence open. I'm looking maybe open test and drive, open drive. But if it's back and forth through the open a bunch of times, the tempo's slow, it doesn't mean it won't happen. Maybe it's just going to build value for a while, okay? But we're looking for, this is a clue that it might happen, okay? High confidence open, positive market internals, early rejection below the spike. So again, we could open, drive down even. We could get below the spike base. We could get down to the value area, high, maybe even a little bit below it, maybe even further. But we're looking, watch how the volume builds, and if we get pushed back upside, or we reject it. We're looking for rejection to the downside. Again, I said this yesterday. It's very usual in the ES to the early morning trade direction, unless it's a trend day, but not necessarily, is in one direction, and then later on it reverses the other direction. After suckering everybody into thinking it's going down, for example, all of a sudden it starts pressing and pushing and rocketing up, all those things, right? And this ties in with what I say, that this market particularly seems to have a lot of games that are played. Fair enough. All right, so the next story that could happen is that we open in range above value below the late spike up. Let me point out what I mean by that. So here's the late spike. Here's the value area high right here. If we could open down in here, I would look for, if we do open down in here, I would look for taking out the overnight low, which I haven't put the level on here. Possibly, there's possible, just like yesterday, at the value area high. But again, the volume point of control here, now that I'm looking at it, is real close. You have these visual targets, and also inherent in this volume, there's reasons that it might get sucked down to it. So just be advised. So like yesterday, I bought right in the value area high, right when it came down. It could have worked, but it didn't. It came through first, and then I bought it when it came back through, and then couldn't get back through it again. So just be advised, right? So anyway, we could open in range above value, below the late spike up. The strategy is to reject the higher prices of the spike and trade towards yesterday's value area low, the volume point of control, which isn't too far away, or the prior low a day. All right, so we're looking for getting back into the, balancing with yesterday and the night before's overnight. So market internals won't support continuation early, and the tempo might be relatively slow. Might not be. But this is one condition I'll be looking for, is maybe a clue that if we open down in here, that we might fall back in, and then some entries might be, look for the 80% rule, value area special situation. Look for one-time framing lower. It could do that even on a slow grind. And the next thing would be to open in range in value. All right. So what I mean is that 8:30, there's some news. So what might happen? I don't know. But let's say we get a pretty big move off of that, and we get down here, and we're now where the gray area is the value area. So now we're opening in range in value. All right. Well, first thing I notice, there was a lot of back and fill. You can see where this volume was, where there was this divot. This happens quite a bit. I'm not going to try to explain why that is. It's just a phenomenon that happens, okay? And we could see some more of that in here. We could see some rotation. We could see him move down and get a B shape right here. That's possible. Anything's possible. And then, of course, we could get a move all the way back down to the bottom of the value area low, way down here. So that's one situation, and got one more after that. Now, if we do open in range and value, we're looking for entering the value area early. So I'm saying maybe within the first three to four periods. I'd like to think earlier than that, or open within the value area. And again, this is I call it open in range and value, but we could open above it and enter in there. All right, it may not open in there, but it may enter in there in the first, like in the initial balance. Market internals will be neutral to mixed, slow tempo, low confidence open, and I should add build value within the value area. Alternatively, it could open down there and have a high confidence and still have these same dynamics where it trades down to the prior low of the day. Let's see. I call it rotating within yesterday's value area or range, meaning it could go all the way to the low. A balancing day, basically, maybe an inside day. Then the last one would be to take out the prior higher day with continuation. So, in fact, all of these, the first three stories, almost all of them could happen. Let's leave open and late day and taking this out. But number 2 and number 3, these could still happen, and this happened later. Okay, but I can't write out 10 stories, of all the different possibilities, combinations. So again, it could, like I said, it could be a blend, but depending on when it happens. But let's say we reject the value area high early, and we develop value overlapping to higher, just like yesterday. And then you want to keep your eye out for one-time framing higher. I sometimes, if I'm paying attention, can spot it on a 10-minute chart, because very often one-time framing on a 30-minute is made up of one-time framing on the 10-minute. There's an important clue. So we want to see it build value above the spike low and or the prior higher day. The entries, this is for me. You have your own playbook, I guess, but we want positive market internals of buying and negative of selling. That's just part of my, I have a little template that I use. We're looking for positive, okay? We're not looking for negative. Positive market internals and a high confidence open. Again, we could have the low confidence open, we could have building value down here, and then Powell speaks or something, whatever, and all of a sudden things have changed. So this is a day to perhaps do a mid-morning update and reevaluate things. And now that I've said that, I hope I don't forget to do that, because that's again, one of the impetus for doing these videos is to build my own confidence and my own stories here, and not just do the work and then then forget about it, leave your homework at home, but to actually really have confidence that these things will play out. They may take some time, and if you see them developing, take your shots, because we saw yesterday taking a shot and not even getting the full range of 2 of the stories would have been worth 36 points on a 1 lot conservatively. If you would have had the foresight and the stamina to hold the one that was 27 points, you'd have had to hold that for an hour and a half, or maybe an hour and 15 minutes. But it was there, and that would have been well worth it. Well worth it. All right. Thank you very much. Make a great day. Hope to see you later, and take care. Bye.